Sup, what is up? This is our first lecture for our functions class, and today we're going to talk about something that is called the order of operations. In other words, if I have a whole bunch of mathematical operations on one line, which ones do we do first? Which ones do we do last? The order is actually pretty important. For instance, let's look at this little example real quick. Right? What if I gave you this? If I said 6 times 5 plus 3, right? Which one would we do first? Would we do the 5 plus 3 first? Would we do the 6 times 5 first? Right? So we've got two routes that we can go, right? One would be what if I did the 6 times 5 part first and then added 3 onto it, right? That would be a 30 plus 3, which gives me 33, right? Or what if I did the 5 plus 3 stuff first? That'd be 6 times 8, which gives me 48, right? And then you can see we get two completely different answers here, right? Where one is right and one is wrong, right? And just in case you're wondering, this is the right way to go, right? So the answer here really should be 48, okay? For another example of how things might be able to go wrong, what if I gave you this one, right? So here's another example for you. What if I said 5 times 2 squared? Right? Again, we've got a couple of ways we could think about this. Should I look at the 5 times 2 part first and then square it, which would be 10 squared, which is 100? Or should I do the 2 squared part first, and 2 squared, of course, is 4, and 5 times 4 then gives me 20? Right? Again, you can see two completely different answers here, right? Which in this case, this second one, again, is also the right way to go, right? So here's one more example for you, right? What if I gave you 2 plus 5 times 3, right? And maybe we'll look at a couple other ones, maybe one more after this, right? So here, if we did the 2 plus 5 stuff first, that would then give me, whoops, let me get rid of that. That would give me a 7 times 3, which is 21. Right? Or if I did the 5 times 3 part first, that would be 2 plus 15, which would then give me 17. Right? Which again, those things don't match up. Right? And this one, again, is the way to go. All right, so let's look at one more example. Right. What about 30 divided by 5 times 3? Right. So again, there's only a couple of ways we could do this. I could do the 30 divided by 5 part first, which would give me a 6, and then I've still got the times 3 there. 6 times 3 gives me an 18. Right. Or I could do the 5 times 3 part first, which would then be 30 divided by 15, which of course gives me 2. Right. And in this case, there is your right answer. Okay. So there's a nice little way we can try to remember how to do all of these things, right? And it's some initials here for you. Let me give them to you. And it's called PEMDAS. I guess that's how you say it. I don't care. Maybe we can find a better way to say that thing in class, right? But if you remember that word, that helps us with the order of operations, right? So the P part stands for parentheses. So if you see parentheses first on your problem, make sure you knock those out of the way first of all. Right? So when I had the 6 times 5 plus 3 one we had up earlier on the previous page, well, we've got parentheses right here. So let's do that part first. So then this would be 6 times 8, which then left me with 48 as my answer. All right? The E in PEMDAS stands for exponents. Exponents. Okay. All right. So remember this example we had on the previous page as well, where I had 5 times 2 squared. Right? Well, in this case, since I don't have any parentheses, let's move down the list. The next letter is E, so that means exponents. So there is an example of an exponent, 2 to the second power. So I'll do that part first. So then I have 5 times 2 squared, which is 4, and then 5 times 4 gives me my 20. All right. The M and the D, that stands for multiplication. right? And the D stands for division. Right? These actually have the same order, right? So in terms of order right now, this is the first step you do. This would be the second step you do. And these two things have the same power, right? In the sense which timing you do them, right? So they both would occur third on our list. And what you want to do then for this, if you have a whole bunch of them, if you see them, you want to start answering these things going left to right. Right? So let's look at one of the examples we did here a second ago, where it was 30 divided by 5 times 3. Right? The operations here are division and multiplication. Right? They've got the same level here, right? They're both the third level, so we should do them in a sense at the same time, but look at it from left to right. So if I look at it from left to right, I'll do the 30 divided by 5 part first, which will lead me to a 6. And then I'm left with 6 times 3, which gives me my 18. Right? So since they both have the same level of importance here, I would do this one first and this one second as we're reading them left to right. Okay? All right, and the A and the S stand for addition and subtraction. And addition and subtraction, kind of like multiplication and division, have the same level of difficulty, right? So we will look at these things going left to right as well. All right. So when I gave you, let's see if I can find one of these. How about this one? What if I had 3 plus 4 minus 5 plus 6? I don't have any parentheses, don't have any exponents, no multiplication, no division. So I just have addition and I have subtraction. Right? So what we want to do is we want to answer these things going left to right. So first of all, that 3 plus 4 gives me a 7. Right? So then I have 7 minus 5 plus 6. Right? And then the 7 minus 5 gives me a 2. So now I'm left with 2 plus 6. And then 2 plus 6 obviously just gives me an 8. Right? So the little acronym you can remember here, if you want to, is called, again, PEMDAS. Right? Maybe, again, there's a cooler way you all can say it in class for me. But if we remember that, then we should be able to handle any of these types of problems. Okay? All right, so let's see if we can practice some of these things. Again, I'm making these things up off the top of my head, so I really hope that they work out okay. So what about this one? Two plus 3 times 4 divided by 5, right? So again, let's think about the order of operations. First thing you want to look at are parentheses, right? And I've got some right there. So let's take care of that part first. The 2 plus 3 gives me a 5. Right? So I have 5 times 4 divided by 5. Right? Now I have multiplication and division, right? Which again, if you remember, have the same level of difficulty, so we can look at them from left to right, which means I will do the 5 times 4 part first, right? Which will give me a 20. Right? And then 20 divided by 5 gives me a final answer of 4. Okay? All right. Let's see if we can do another one here. All right, how about this one? How about 18 divided by 6 times 5, in parentheses, minus 14 divided by 7. All right, so which part do we do first? The part that's inside the parentheses. Right? So inside the parentheses, I have 18 divided by 6 times 5. Right? And I'll worry about those last two terms here in a minute. Right? So now I have a division and multiplication problem here. And remember, multiplication and division have the same level of difficulty, so we do those from left to right. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at this part, 18 divided by 6. That gives me a 3, and then I've got my times 5 there, so 3 times 5 gives me a 15. Right. So this part right here simplifies into just a 15. So what I'm left with now is 15 minus 14 divided by 7. Right? So here I have a division problem and a subtraction problem, which if you look at the order, the division comes before subtraction. All right, so that means I'm going to do this part first. So I've still got my 15 and my minus sign there, but then 14 divided by 7 is just 2. And now 15 minus 2 leaves me with 13. All right, so that wasn't too bad. Let's see if we can do another one here. All right, how does this one look? How about 2 to the 4th minus 5 times 10 minus 16 divided by 2 plus 30 minus 27. All right, so again, if you think about the order of operations, again, parentheses come first. And let me get rid of this and this. And if you notice, for this one, we actually have 2 sets of parentheses on here. Right? And if you remember the rule, if you have 2 things with the same level of difficulty, look at them from left to right. Right? Which means I will do this one first and then this one second. Right? So I'm not changing that 2 to the 4th or that 5, but inside this parentheses, let me do a little scratch work over here. What is 10 minus 16 divided by 2? Right? Again, according to the order of operations, I should do this part first. So I'm leaving that 10 alone and the negative sign alone. And then 16 divided by 2, this part leaves me with an 8. Right? And then 10 minus 8 leaves me with 2. Right? So this 2 goes right here. And then that's plus. If we looked at the second one, 30 minus 27 is just 3. Okay, so here's where we are now. Let me get rid of this stuff. Boom. Okay, so I have 2 to the 4th minus 5 times 2 plus 3. Right? So what I still have here is an exponent, a subtraction, a multiplication, and an addition problem. Right? And according to the rules that we have over here, we don't have any parentheses, right? Because everything's simplified inside 2. That's just 5 times 2. So the next level is going to be e, exponents. So I'm going to handle this part first. Right? 2 to the 4th, and let me get a little scratch work here. Let me get rid of this page, this stuff. Okay, 2 to the 4th, if you remember, is just 2 times itself 4 times. Right? So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Right? So then this now becomes 16 minus 5 times 2 plus 3. Right? Now the multiplication part comes next. So what I'm going to have here is a 16 minus 10 plus 3. And then these have the same level of difficulty with addition and subtraction. So I'm going to look at them from left to right like this. So the 16 minus 10 is 6. And then the 6 plus 3 just leaves me with 9. Okay. All right, let's see if we can try a couple more and then we'll be done. All right, what about this one? 2 times 4 squared plus 5 squared divided by 26 minus 1. All right. Take a second and pause this. See if you can figure out what it is on your own. All right, so let me give you a little bit of countdown so you can pause it in 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's see how we should have done this. Right? Again, for parentheses, those come first, right? So that's this part. So if we do that part first, I'm not doing anything to any of this, and then the 26 minus 1 leaves me with a 25. All right, so now there's no more parentheses, so now we can look at exponents. Right? And the exponents are here and here. Right? And if we do them left to right, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, and then I've still got this divided by 25 over here at the end. All right, so the next level, since we've gotten rid of all the exponents, is multiplication and division. There's a multiplication problem. There's a division problem right there. Let's see. So, let me clean this board up a little bit. So now we just look at them from left to right. So this first one, 2 times 16, gives me 32, and then that's plus 25 divided by 25, and any number divided by itself is just 1. So then I just have a simple addition problem, 32 plus 1, which gives me 33. Okay. All right, so here is one more for you. All right, so let's see if you all can do this one on your own. All right, this will be 7 plus 6 times 5 squared plus 3. All right, we'll do this one in class, but let's see if you all can get it. Just give that a shot using these rules over here on the left-hand side, this PEMDAS stuff, and we'll answer this one in class, and I'll have a whole bunch of these things for you to work on, so hopefully we can get them done. All right, so that's it for today. That's our first lecture. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Remember, if you need some help, sometimes Google can be your friend. Right? So if you want some other videos, there's a place called the Khan Academy. They have quite a few videos there, so if you just Google them and order of operations, that's some more stuff you can look at as well. But I look forward to seeing you all in class. We have a couple other upper level students that are going to be helping us out, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So I will see you soon.